Good morning, folks. I like to talk about things that I know about. If you hear me hesitating in my videos, it's because I probably don't know what I'm talking about. But I want to talk about stones and pottery. The relation is that pottery of any kind is considered earthenware, which means it was made from stones. Of course, this is made from clay of various types and processes and firing temperatures and glazing and color and all that, which I do know quite a bit about that. We repair pottery, and the first step is to clean it. Now, these two pieces right here, well, actually all these, they came from one sale, one household. These two pieces were exactly the same. This one had as much stain as that one. We use this in our class as a demonstration. Our processes takes all of that stain out. The stain comes about when the pottery gets older. Pottery is made up of the base, the inner body of the pottery, and then an outer glaze, which is fired on a little bit higher. Quite a bit higher. But over time and use and temperature changes and years, the pottery will start cracking. Let me get it again. And that crackling is called crazing. This allows stains, organic material, to enter into the softer inner body, which starts up a slow growing mold because these oils and stuff is organic. This little kitchen breakfast thing here, this picture, is fully stained, and it's really slowly deteriorating where it would eventually just crumble away. I bought some really nice stoneware from a storm shelter, an old seller, once, and I couldn't move it because the large stoneware pieces just crumbled in my hands. And it's because of that softness about something when it's get really, really old. All of these pieces looked like that. Maybe not as bad, but they were really stained and crazed. They still have crazing. So, but our process takes all the stain out and allows us to continue with the repairs in such a way that we're not dealing with the internal stain. Also, any color, glaze, adhesive that we use will not be messed with the oily interior stain. We have to take the stain out first to make a really good cosmetic repair. And after cleaning a piece, a repaired piece like this should not be used again. For instance, this little breakfast, whatever, you wouldn't want to serve blueberry soup in something like that. I mean, anyway, I have found that stones is like that. There is, for instance, there's a hard part of a stone, and then there's a cortex. And the cortex is always softer than that part of the stone. Well, what I did was I've had this piece sitting by my station for a while, especially when I was highlighting and coloring and such. And I used it sort of as a testing for actually for the color for this one. this is that Thunderbird and all. But I wanted to highlight the Thunderbird and snake. Now this is several months ago, of course, but some of the color that I used, which I mixed and tested here, did get on the harder part of the stone, but most of the carving was done on the cortex. And these are stones right here that I have not highlighted. All the color in them are original. And I'm hoping that you can see the color in these, the original color. But I am going to get one wet as an example because they would all do the same. They would show it better. And that way you can see. Don't look at any images, please. Just look at the color that's in there. All of these stones has often awesome images, but it's the color. So all of these, if you get them wet, you can see that there's color way down in there. And some are more obvious. This one I've shown before, it's a little owl and stuff, but there's still color in there from the original. But what I'd want to say today is that as I was testing my color to paint that, the only thing I use is ochre and water. That's it. I figured that I could wash it off. Well, last week I decided to just wash it off and get it back to original because there is some original color in this piece. There was a really an orange way down deep, but this orange and these stripes, I did that. Well, anyway, I decided to wash it off. I just took it to the sink, soap and water. Didn't do it. Acetone didn't do it. Alcohol, hydrogen peroxide. I tried paint stripper. I even tried sanding some of it out. And it's in there. And that's just being on this stone for several months. So my thoughts are that stone is like pottery. It will soak into it. But unlike pottery, I can get the stain out. So these colors on all these things that I've shown, I questioned for a long time, why is that color still there? And I can't say I've totally proved it to myself, but it's just mixing water with ochre, and the color will soak into that soft pottery, and then it's there. It's like, you can't get it out. Just something to keep in mind when you are highlighting pieces. And I've only done about maybe 10 of mine highlighted or totally repainted. And I'm not going to do it anymore. Hope this has helped.